All right, I want to show you the 8 indicators of building generational wealth right now, not just in crypto, but also outside of crypto. This is going to be a very strong video for those who watch to the end, but we're going to talk about these 8 indicators and exactly what we need to align to create generational wealth this year. No waiting around for it. No waiting till 2032 investing just in Bitcoin. Let me show you the thesis. First of all, the first indicator we need the global macroeconomy to be doing extremely well. This is the music to the whole world where people are willing to invest their money. If you have a look at the current sentiment, one of the best ways I feel like doing it is coming over to Graham Stephan's page or any other top financial influencers page and see what sort of thumbnails and titles they're using. You can see Graham Stephan, anytime he puts up a lot of fear in the thumbnail, such as China dumping the US dollar, or everyone needs to know with their money ASAP, with the final countdown fire behind him, Trump angry. You can see these are getting 1 million, 1.3 million. It's over. Trump just broke the stock market, 1 million with the sidewards going down, stock prices. And then you see something like how to use the 2025 recession to get rich, something green, something positive, 167,000 views. You can see the sentiment out there on social media very easily. And of course, people actually measure this. This is the fear and greed index. Right now is in extreme fear. So if you're surviving out there, if you feel anything more than extreme fear, you're doing better than the average person. Now, what happens to try and bring the economy up when it's in the fear and greed index and stocks and crypto and all assets really, apart from gold at the moment, are falling? Well, they fire up the money printer, quantitative easing. And in fact, Bitcoin Teddy says 80% of dollars were created in the last 5 years. Have a look at the money supply here over COVID. Absolutely exponential. Now, where does all this extra cash go to? Well, they go into harder assets. So the second indicator here is that stocks do well. And if you zoom out, this is from 1997 all the way through to today, you can see stocks have been consistently up and to the right. And this is why people prefer to invest in the stock market than hold dollars, because dollars have been consistently down and to the right. And it's no coincidence, because people like Michael Saylor believe that almost every gain in the stock market is literally just coming from the devaluation of the dollar, and it's actually not gaining at all. And you can see it when you have an inflation-adjusted S&P 500, which is back in 2021. It's up 10% in 4 years when you adjust for not any inflation, but the inflation that the government manipulates in order to say there's only been 3% inflation. However, real inflation is called monetary inflation, which is measured by how much percentage of the total money supply do they print every single year. And no coincidence, as Michael Saylor points out, this is a Michael Saylor graph actually, chart should I say, the US large caps, the SPY, the S&P 500 is at 13.3% growth, which is exactly how much monetary inflation has occurred between 2011 and 2024. Now, you can see something on this graph. There's only a couple of things that have outperformed inflation. The growth of the US economy, the top 100 US stocks, but that is mostly propped up by the Magnificent Seven, the big tech stocks, which have had a boom and have done really poorly recently. And of course, there's one thing, another indicator that we need to go well in order to absolutely print in meme coins and altcoins and get those 100x returns. And that's for Bitcoin to continue to do well, because Bitcoin is really the only thing outperforming monetary inflation. And when you have a look at Bitcoin, so thanks to, it could be Jane or Jan3 Financial here, did you know that Bitcoin's 200-week moving average never declines? People are like, oh, Bitcoin's a riskiest asset. Oh, it's so volatile. I don't know if it's going to crash down to zero. It always rises. Have a look at the 200-week moving average. This is since 2015. You can see it's up and to the right, because Bitcoin is literally absorbing all that extra money that's being printed for no cost. And this is how we take our power back from the money printers. And Bitcoin is also comparable to nothing, because a lot of people compare it to gold, and gold is doing extremely well right now. But you can see the gold supply inflates at 2% every single year, which is far greater than Bitcoin, which only ever will have 21 million coins. As Michael Saylor says, we underestimate the exponentials of Bitcoin because we've never seen a truly scarce asset before. Real estate might be one of the closest things, but even then, there's so much land that's uninhabited. And somewhere like Boston literally has 50 or 60% of its landmass literally being made by man, as does Dubai. They're doing their Palm de Jumeirah and everything. However, why aren't we at $3 million Bitcoin, and why aren't alts flying and everyone hitting those 100x highs already? Well, put simply, technological adoption is weirdly slow. You think, wow, Bitcoin is revolutionary. It's on par with the internet or even fire, some people say, or language. Have a look at these amazing inventions, such as a computer. Like, we all use computers now. It took years, 2 decades to get to 80% adoption. Like 20 years that took. You think it'd be overnight when you come out with a computer that can do the things computers can do. Or you think of even the internet. The internet is absolutely magical. I couldn't live without. Well, you can, but probably suck a lot more than living with the internet. You can see that's taken 25 years. And even after, say, 10 years, you only had 40% of the world adopting it. So technological adoption is way slower than you think, especially because if you're watching this video, you're one of the people who are going to adopt it really quickly. And like, why isn't everyone else doing this? You can see, I've mentioned this on the channel before, the replacement of horses by cars. Now, it's like gas cars versus electric cars. There's so many more reasons to drive an electric car, but weirdly, everyone doesn't jump over in a second. And the same thing happened when you went from horse and cart to cars. Look how slow it was. And in fact, they've changed the dates down here, but this was over decades. It took like 20 to 30 years before cars took over, and probably something like 50 years before horses were really like, oh, that's weird. There's a horse out there that you can actually ride as a novelty now. And now it's the most expensive thing because there's only one horse and cart in the city that is just there for the fun of it, to be like, oh, this is how people used to get around. However, we don't need everyone to adopt Bitcoin for it to fly, because Bitcoin also traces the money supply, the M2 money supply. It's got something like a 90% correlation. This guy here, Colin Talks Crypto, he's really phenomenal on X, talking about the correlation between the M2 and Bitcoin supply, which has a 78 to 108 day offset. Why? Because when they print money, it takes a while for it to distill down into the harder assets, about 11 to 15 weeks. And this is the move that apparently we are at right now, where the money supply has skyrocketed, but Bitcoin has not followed yet. But when it does do well, guess what does even better? Well, it's of course the altcoins and the meme coins, because Bitcoin could rally from 85 to 170, but that's only a 2x on your money. What we like to do on this channel is look at the top influencers and biggest traders in the world and see how they're consistently hitting these 10, 20, 50, 100, sometimes even 1000x returns on their money. And it's because they're playing further down the risk curve with lower market caps, which are more volatile. So Bitcoin is the music, just like the economy is the music to the stock market. Bitcoin is the music to all of crypto. And as that goes up, things go up further down the crypto whip with more velocity. But as you probably realized recently, they also go down with more velocity. When Bitcoin goes down 10%, some of these tokens could go down 50, 60%, which is why we're sort of all patiently waiting for Bitcoin to do its rally so all these altcoins can then move. And I'm going to show you how quickly that happens too. So you don't want to be sitting sidelined waiting for Bitcoin to rally, because you might miss it. Altcoin Daily says historically, this is a perfect time to buy altcoins, because it looks like on the indicator, which goes between Bitcoin season, altcoin season, Bitcoin season, altcoin season. So like stocks, bonds in the traditional sense. Right now, we are looking like we are going to be moving way up into altcoin season, which is funny because you want to contra trade this. When it says Bitcoin season, you want to buy alts. When it says alt season, you want to buy Bitcoin, and you'd perform the best historically. Now you can see we're not in alt and meme coin season at the moment by this chart right here. This is on June Analytics, and this shows you the bot volume over time. Now, what is a bot? Basically, it's a wallet on Telegram. We actually run one. It's the best one. It's called Archie. That's this guy sitting behind me right now. Link in the description if you want to use our wallet to be able to trade crypto in the palm of your hands really quickly, really safely, effortlessly, and without these tokens having to have billion-dollar plus valuations and being listed on centralized exchange. You can buy them at any market cap in literally 2 clicks of a button. Archiebot.ai. I'll link that up below if you want that. But our bot and everyone else's bot has record low volumes on it at the moment, because interest isn't there, because the stocks aren't doing well, and then Bitcoin's not doing well, and then altcoins aren't doing well, and then meme coins and then microcaps are not doing well. It's just big tail like that crypto whip. However, historically, when's the best time to actually buy these tokens. It's not when volumes are at all-time highs and prices are at all-time high, because they will go hand in hand. It's right now, as it says, best time to buy alts is not during the peak of alt season. However, as markets turn, if you're looking for that 10, 50, 100x return, you're not going to see it in Bitcoin, at least not in a year or 2 years. You might see that in 1 to 2 decades. And you can see going down this crypto whip, something like GigaChad, if you're positioned in the right tokens, this had a 300,000% return, which is just absolutely mind-blowing, and it makes Bitcoin look like a flat line. Now, it crashed way more than Bitcoin crashed because it's more volatile, but now that we're actually in the sideways / down part of the market, you may want to be looking at more of these meme coins and altcoins because they have the bigger upside as market sentiment turns. And someone like Luke Belmar says, Unk advice, you can make more money trenching meme coins, buying these microcap meme coins, than paying for a college degree and getting a job. However, you have to discern which meme coins and which altcoins go up. Now, the short answer to this, excluding all the rug pulls and the scams, all of them. You can see during altcoin season down here, this is the total market cap, excluding Bitcoin. You can see it went from like 100 billion all the way up to 1.6 trillion, 16x return. And recently, this little pump that we had went from a 500 billion up to a 1.2 trillion, a 2.5x return, because all the altcoins are going up together because the market sentiment is high, just like all the altcoins went down together when market sentiment turned. However, some of them go up more than others. And I've got one piece of advice that's worked really well for me when trading altcoins and meme coins. People like Alex Becker, people like Crypto God John, people like Luke Belmar, people like Elliot Weinman, people like Andrew Tate, even Elon Musk, Donald Trump now is a crypto influencer. When they talk about tokens, when people with audiences talk about tokens, these tokens do crazy ROIs, way higher than the ones that are based on good tech. Because think about it. Market sentiment turns, everyone's hyper bullish again. You look silly for being bearish, just like right now you look silly for being bullish. And everyone's like, okay, we're buying. What are we buying? Oh, I don't know. Who are the people who have made money in the past? Someone like Alex Becker, all these people I listed. Or who are the people who have influence? And I know that Alex Becker loves a token. And I know that 3 million people who buy and sell crypto also buy and sell what Alex Becker buys. I'm going to want to get into that token before the 3 million people find out about it. This is why we do social arbitrage investing, because that's really the only way to get these 100x plus returns. And so we literally track the wallets and the social profiles of the best crypto investors and the people who can literally move markets with one tweet to see what they're buying before everyone else. And you can join our inner circle if you want access to all those alerts. We're rebuilding and doing some amazing stuff in there. However, the question right now is, when will this occur? And Murad, who owns tens of millions of dollars of meme coin, says, this is how I expect the meme coin super cycle to play out. Everything is going according to plan. Buckle up. Now, he's actually got quite a late projection here, thinking that it's going to go exponential in September, which still gives us about 4 to 5 months before we see that real high peak going up, which gives you a decent time to dollar cost average into your favorite portfolio. Alex Becker, and I'll mention this real quick, we'll say which of these tokens are going up. Well, if you want to follow Murad, it's his top 10 meme coins. You can go buy a small portfolio of that. If you want to follow someone like Alex Becker, it's his ETH-based coins that are utility, RWA, and AI plays. And it's very easy just to mirror those two portfolios and get the same results that these influencers get. Becca says, I've never been more exposed yet comfortable in crypto spot than I am right now. The coming moves are so obvious. We're almost there. Pre-order your G6. What I thought was interesting is Cepheus says, eventually, Becker will be right. Realize this, because Becker's been talking about this for a long time. And he says something very interesting. Do I need to be right more than once? A 20x is a 20x and the right call, whether it takes 1 week or 1 year. This is why most on here will remain broke and angry. They are making this a right or wrong contest versus seeing the big picture. This is so big. A lot of people are like, well, you said it was going to 20x last month. He's saying it doesn't matter when it 20x's. It could 20x literally before this video goes out, or it could take an entire year, or it could be September. Beckers, based on his vibe, looks to think that it's going to start pumping in the next couple of months, as does a couple of other massive influencers who have timed the market perfectly before. However, he says it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you can't control the big macro factors that we've gone through. What you do know is that you're going to get a 20x sometime between now and 1 year. So who cares when it actually happens? What you do want to know, however, if I zoom out on this Dogecoin graph, is it happens fast. You cannot sit around and wait. This is Dogecoin, which made so many millionaires last time, but you can see this is one absolutely spiked. You know, we've had sort of this hump, which was the last 3 months, and now we've had sideways and down. This thing absolutely flew from half a cent to 3 cents. So a nice 6x return into the, I think this is like a $40 billion market cap level. And if you waited and just saw that and then got in, you're already losing most of your gains, because then you only have a little bit to go, and you can see how quickly it turns too. We want to be buying here so that when it does spike, we can sell half our bag. It spikes again, we can sell the rest of our bag, get the hell out, buy the life of our dreams, and dump on all the normies who are doubting in this moment, who aren't here watching these videos. Now, what do you do in the meantime? Because this could be 1 week, this could be 3 months, this could be 6 months. Well, there's something I haven't mentioned here on the channel before, because I've made now 7 figures trading crypto, but I've made a lot more than that actually creating businesses and working on my income, definitely over 8 figures. So you can see that, so there's 2 pillars on building incredibly high net worths in the modern age, because it's obvious that there's never been a better time to harness this sort of technology, from AI to crypto to all these crazy breakthroughs, to build up your net worth to be able to support your dream life. However, on this channel, we only ever have talked about the return on investment, which takes your current money and 10x's it, or sometimes 50, 100x's it, depending on your risk appetite and where you put your money. However, a lot of people are playing with $1,000 to $10,000, and you see Alex Becker has 8 figures in the market. So he's the guy going to be coming out with billions. And the biggest lever that you can pull, because you have way more control over it than waiting for the crypto market and the macro economy to turn, is your income. Because this meme went viral over the weekend, and a lot of people are stuck in a similar position to this. Nice, it's 5 p.m. already, only 40 years left on the middle class treadmill. And I've actually done some math here, which I thought this was fascinating. In order to get a pretty decent, but nothing crazy flashy, not a head-turning car, Mercedes, you need to be able to work 551 work days if you're getting paid $150,000 a year in order to afford this car. And then you go onto YouTube and you see Andrew Tate getting out of a $5 million car, getting on Lord Aleem's $8 million yacht. He talks about not even picking up his Pagani yet, which is another $5 million car, and then he hasn't had time to go and pick it up. And you're like, wait, why am I working 3 years to get this simple looking Mercedes when they can be flying around Dubai on these 7+ figure vehicles like it's nothing? Well, in my opinion, they've learned how to harness the technology of today. And Sam Altman, he's the founder of OpenAI from ChatGPT. He says, I think this is going to be more like the Renaissance than the Industrial Revolution, talking about the prosperity and creativity and wealth that's going to be created from harnessing crypto and AI. But in my opinion, it's going to be extremely split between those who can really master these forces and those that are scared of them or do not take action and do not build businesses and wealth generating machines around them. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been working on this free tool that is almost finished that I want to give you, again, completely free, to help escape that middle class treadmill and build real wealth that actually sets you free, not what society says, oh, 150, 250 grand a year. You're completely free. If you want to buy your dream house, if you want to buy your dream car, if you want to travel the world first class, that amount of money is not going to get you there. You need to know how to 10x your income from there. And of course, harness the power of Bitcoin and investing to 10x your return on your investments. If you want this free tool, once it's ready, it'll be ready in a couple of days. I'll email it out to you. Come and put in your email and your name here, and you'll be hearing from me. If you made it to the end of this video and this interests you, we've got awesome stuff to come for you. We've been working on this. Since the market's pulled back a little bit, we've been putting a lot of energy and time into this for you. So make sure you don't miss out. Link in the description below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.